keep people off the calendar. And just so you guys know, I have 2 different companies set up for you guys to get involved. Even if you're the average everyday person and you don't know anything about precious metals, you can still get involved. I have 2 companies set up for that. The first one is goldquiz.com. Goldquiz.com will very easily help you take your money out of the stock market, out of that fiat-backed currency, that fiat dollar. Get it out of there and put it into metal. Very, very easy. All you got to do is go to goldquiz.com. Link is down below in the description. Answer about 4 or 5 questions. Takes about 30 seconds. Then you sign up for an appointment with the experts at Gold Quiz. I partner with several people in the precious metals industry, several industry experts in the industry, to help you guys roll over a 401k, a 403b, an IRA, or a bunch of other different kind of retirement accounts. In addition to that, you could also take savings that you have now. This is new, and through an EFT transfer, buy bulk precious metals and have them shipped directly to you, or vaulted, but you could have them shipped directly to you. Conversely, on the other side of that, same side of the different side of the same token, I guess, if you want to say is the phrase, philsilver.com. Link is also down below. That helps the everyday person get fractional gold and silver. When you sign up for an appointment with philsilver.com, we're going to enroll you into a company called 7K Metals. They will automatically get you set up with a wallet that is called your Sound Money wallet. You could put any amount of money in there that you want and buy any amount of gold or silver that you want with the click of a button instantaneously. So let's say you're on a budget, right? And at the end of the week, you only have 20 bucks left over, 50 bucks left over, $75, whatever it may be. You only have that much left over. You go to your Sound Money wallet, boom, buy fractional gold or silver, however much you want. Could be the smallest denomination, could be the largest denomination. That money stays in your Sound Money wallet. You could convert it back to cash whenever you want. You could convert gold to silver, silver to gold, either of those things to the dollar. Not sure why you'd want to do that, but makes it very, very simple. You also get, with Phil Silver and 7K Metals, a coin of the month. A numismatic coin. Could be a Silver Eagle if you want it. Could be something one of 7K Select Series. Super, super awesome stuff happening over at 7K Metals, and much more to come. I'm going to be announcing a lot more on 7K Metals soon. So both of those links are down below. Got that out of the way. If you haven't gotten there yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. You saw the future of the metals market last week. We were literally sitting on the edges of our seats on Friday, yesterday, waiting for that price to close over $30 an ounce for silver. And we were threatening $2,500 an ounce for gold. That's never happened before with gold. Never. Silver's now at a decade high. We've been talking about this for 4 years. I've been trying to get people involved in metals. My metals alone, just what I hold privately, whether it's in vaults or in my person, I have storage units, I have, safes all over the place. My metals alone, both my gold and silver, in the last 14 days have gone up $18 million in value in 14 days. Now, I hold a lot of metal, a lot. I'm not even going to tell you the exact denominations, but I bet you could do the math. I'm not saying that everybody's going to go up $18 million, but what I am saying is you got to start somewhere. Otherwise, you're never going to get involved. So I expect huge things out of the metals market next week based on everything that's happening. And now we got a war going on, apparently, or maybe not apparently. We'll talk about that in a minute. But regardless of that, we got missiles flying. And when that happens, one of the number one things that gets irritated is the stock market. They don't like that kind of stuff. And as the stock market goes down, which we watched happen all week last week, as the stock market goes down, boom, metals go up. Happened all week last week. They were talking about inflation. They were talking about rates not being adjusted downward like the Fed said they were going to be in 2024. All of this stuff contributes to the price of precious metals: gold, silver, palladium, platinum, copper, and everything else, right? Now, in addition to that, I let go of some intel this past week. I believe it was Wednesday, during Wednesday's live, that Donald Trump has signed the United States into BRICS. Now, you may say, well, why would Donald Trump sign the United States into a foreign nation's currency system? Well, that's not what BRICS is. That's what the general public thinks BRICS is. But BRICS is Nasera. BRICS is Nasera Jacera. It's just a front. It's just like a facade that they put over the top of it. And they're calling it something else for now. And meanwhile, All these nations are getting ready. All these nations are hoarding their gold and their silver, and they're getting ready for a precious metals backed currency. So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but when you have a retirement account, like a 401k or like an IRA, you give your money to a custodian. It could be Northwestern Mutual. It could be Charles Schwab. It could be Bank of America. It could be a whole bunch of different companies that take, your money, as well as everybody else that works at your company, plus a bunch of other companies, and they pool that money. They put it all together in one big account, kind of like a hedge fund. And they take that money and they invest it. You know where they invest it primarily? The stock market. So you may, right now, chances are you do, it's a good 85 to 90% chance that your 401k or IRA is invested in the stock market. Is that where you want your retirement funds? If the answer is yes, ignore everything I'm saying. If the answer is no, you have a decision to make. Do you get it out of there while the writing's on the wall and you see what's happening? Or do you just let it ride and be like, yeah, the white hats are never going to, I'm just going to listen to what I hear on the news. Okay. It's fine. Listen to what you hear in the news. But could you afford it when it's $100 an ounce? Talking about silver. Could you afford gold when it's $5,000 an ounce? If you can, then don't worry about it. But if you can't and you want to get involved, the best thing that happened last week was silver stopped at 28 something an ounce and gold stopped at 24 something an ounce, 2,400 something an ounce. I thought it was going to hit 30, and come Monday morning, that shit would have flew. So you got yourself the weekend to make some appointments and get yourself in line. The calendar is very, very booked for both goldquiz.com and philsilver.com. But try to find an opening and get yourself on there. For today and tomorrow only, I have opened my Telegram chat room. Very rarely that I do that. Sometimes once a month, sometimes not even once a month. My Telegram chat room is open. The link to the Telegram chat room is down below. It's in the description of both Rumble and Locals. If you aren't on Rumble or Locals, get over to Rumble or Locals if you want to be involved in that chat room. It's basically like a group chat room. At any given time, we have anywhere between 5,000 to 20,000 active members. And right now it's hovering between 50 and 55,000 members overall. So not all those people are active at all times, obviously, but it's a nice place to go if you are a like-minded patriot and you want to talk about things like we talk about on my show or other things. We do have rules. It is a private chat room. So if you're going to go in there and belittle people or talk down to people or just act like an asshole in general, you're going to get muted or you could get banned permanently. So if you're not, into those rules and you think that, free speech, Phil has to offer free speech. No, I don't. It's a private platform and I make the rules. So if you're going to go in there and be dramatic, or if you're going to go in there and be Debbie Downer to everybody else who's clinging for hope right now, I don't want you there to begin with. But if you're not going to do that and you could actually get along with people and you want to talk about things on a daily basis with a like-minded group of patriots, there's the link. I do have moderators in there that watch the chat at all times of the day. I watch the chat sometimes too during the day. And we will watch the comments and we will watch, for anybody breaking the rules. There is a list of rules in the chat room that's posted, that's pinned to the top of the chat room. My mods will actually share it for you as well. So link to that is in the description of this video. I'm not going to put it anywhere here on the screen. It's going to be in the description of the video. So if you look at the Rumble video where it says Israel, April 13, 2024, then it starts to say, are you enjoying this video? Then it says Phil returns amidst a crazy week. You have to hit show more to expand the description. And then right there, you will see, where is it? Is it not there? Oh, it's there. Chat link temporary. And you'll also see there, I might as well change these real quick right now too, since I just noticed that they're not hyperlinks. Also, while you're down there in that description, you will see the links for both goldquiz.com as well as philsilver.com. I just made them hyperlinks in the description. They weren't hyperlinks before, and now they are. Well, they will be in a moment. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about this. I didn't realize I didn't hyperlink them before. Stupid. There you go. All right, now they're all hyperlinks, so you could just click on them instead of doing a copy and paste. And it should take you to any of those. So, okay. What else is there to talk about? Let's see. Something else I wanted to mention. Oh, for rolling over a 401k or an IRA, one thing I didn't mention in last week's live. Right now, one of my partners with goldquiz.com is offering $10,000 worth of free silver for a qualifying account. Now, there's a couple different qualification factors. You'll have to talk to them about what those factors are, because truthfully, I don't know. But $10,000 for free silver if you do roll over. So really, really good offer right now, especially with what the price of silver is and what we anticipate it to go to. Getting $10,000 worth of free silver is awesome. Absolutely awesome. So you'll do that by rolling over a qualifying IRA or 401k with goldquiz.com. Again, link is down below. Okay. All right. So what do we think? What do we think is going on with Israel and Iran? First of all, for those of you that don't know, I'm going to catch us up here a little bit on the news that you may have missed. Joe Biden recently, within the last couple months or so, made available to Iran something like $100 billion worth of assets, something like that. 100 billion, 100 million, who cares? It's a lot of money, right? In addition to that, he just recently gave them $6 billion. This is Joe Biden cooperating with Iran, and now Iran is going after Israel. Here's the problem with that. Israel, remember Blinken went over to Iran and said, oh yeah, we're going to release all this stuff for you. Okay, the first thing that they did, they're firing at Israel. Now here's the problem with that. Israel is supposed to be an ally of the United States. So now you have Blinken and Biden, these two idiots, right, giving money and assets away to a country who's now attacking their ally. What's the United States do? Do we sit by and watch? What are you supposed to do at this point? The missiles are in the air. Biden said he wasn't addressing the nation tonight. What's the U.S. going to do? Doesn't matter. Weren't we told years ago that we were saving Israel for last? Shouldn't we be completely unsurprised that this type of thing is happening right now? Why wouldn't it be happening right now? I just revealed this past week that Donald Trump signed the United States into BRICS. Did I not? That is one of the last steps before Nasser Jahara gets revealed. You guys know that, right? There's not much left. If we were eating a piece of chicken and we're just nibbling at it for 4 years, we're down to the bone. There's not much meat left on the bone. There's a couple tendons that look like meat. They might be meat. They might not be. We got to bite them to find out and chew into them. If they're too chewy, spit it back out. But honestly, we're at the end of the rope. We've been at the end of the rope for a while. And I guess what aggravated people like me that are a little bit more in the know than the average person, what aggravated me is knowing we were at the end of the rope, but we couldn't get to the end of the rope. Like we're there, we're within reach of the end of the rope, but we're not actually doing anything, right? Now we're still at the end of the rope, but now we actually see things happening, right? Oh, wait. This one just said my mods suck, so I'm just gonna mute him forever. That was fun. Yeah, we're at the end. So there's not much left to happen. We have Trump initiating BRICS. Now we have Iran going after Israel. The United States is going to have to do something, but you know what happens if the United States tries to defend Israel, right? Come on. Who gets involved? Tell me. You guys know. Who gets involved if the United States tries to defend Israel right now against Iran? And you should know this because I've talked about it just a couple months ago. What did I say? Who gets involved if the United States starts to defend Israel? Russia. Russia. Why? Because Russia and Iran are allies. So and Putin just said it. I thought I had this on Do Not Disturb. I do. That's weird. Russia. Putin just said it. Putin just recognized Iran as an ally. So now you have a situation where Iran, because of Biden and Blinken, send an attack to Israel, which is the United States ally, I guess, right? Or so they tell you, right? Then you have Russia saying, well, Iran's our ally. So now if the United States goes there, you know who else goes there? Russia. You think the United States wants to get involved with Russia and Putin? No. Now, secretly and behind the scenes, we know that Russia, the United States, and China are leading a global alliance against the cabal, against the deep state. So what you're seeing right now, let me just play this out for you. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know quite when this happened. Okay. I don't know if it was right after the election, shortly into Biden's term as fake president, or sometime recently. Truthfully, I don't know. I was never told. Okay. But what I do know is that this is what it is. Biden is no longer controlled by the cabal. He was for a short period of time, but he's not now. And as I mentioned many times before in this program, the cabal has very little power over anything. They don't have money because they're getting sucked dry from everything that they possibly could. Their central banking system is failing worldwide, not just in the United States. They are completely inebriated. Completely. You know how Biden walks around the stage and he doesn't know what he's doing ever? That's kind of how the cabal is right now. It's a really great metaphor to give you an idea of what the cabal is like. So somewhere along the line, the White Hat's got a hold of this president and the DOJ and the Department of State and everything else. The White Hats are completely in control of all that now. And at some point, Trump and the alliance started pulling strings, big-time political strings, like the ones to release assets to Iran. I firmly believe that that was a White Hat operation. Let's give them money. Let's give them assets. Let's free up stuff for them, with the promise that they go after who? Israel. Why Israel? Why would the White Hats want Iran if they were going to be given any sort of money? Why would they want Iran to go after Israel? Because Israel is not the United States' ally. Israel is a playground for the cabal. It's the cabal's military in the Middle East. It's the cabal's everything. It's the cabal's government. It's like if you had to say, form a state or a country and tell us that that state or country is completely run by the cabal. That's Israel. It's the headquarters of the cabal. Always has been. That's why Israel's always been such an ally to the United States. Look back in every cabal presidency that there's been, going all the way back to JFK, right? And you tell me that Israel has not been an ally of the United States. That's because every president since him, with the exception of Reagan and Trump, were cabal. So do you envision a scenario where this makes sense? White Hats go in and be like, yeah, let's release some assets to Iran with the promise that if we do, they're going to go after Israel. And then we know that our military, the United States military, isn't going to do anything to defend Israel, because if they do, Russia gets involved and then boom, World War III, right? So I don't see I'd see the United States issuing some strong statements such as, if these attacks don't cease against Israel, we are going to show military force. And then they're probably going to move some ships around the Middle East and there's going to be threats. Are they going to actually get involved? Absolutely not. No way. Because then Putin comes down, rears his forces, and then you're not fighting for Israel, you're fighting against Russia. The United States can't afford to do that right now. In any scenario, black hat, white hat, cabal, non-cabal, the United States doesn't have the money to get into a world war. They don't have the money. They don't have any money at all. Not only are the citizens broke, but the country's broke. The country of the United States that we live in, that most of us live in, that are in this live stream tonight, is teetering on bankruptcy. You know what happens if Russia decides to defend Israel? You know who else gets involved? China. You want to go to war with 1 billion Chinese? No, you don't. That's why Biden isn't going to say anything tonight. He's not even going to come on the news. He's not even going to say a word tonight. They called him off the beach, called him back to the White House. Now he's going to sleep. It's his bedtime anyway, 7:30 Eastern. So this is all just a setup. It's all exactly what we thought it was going to be. That's why my first reaction on Telegram earlier to my announcements channel was E-Bomb's World. So this is the Earth. It's chilling. Damn, what the sweet Earth you say. Wrong. Okay, so ruling out the ice caps melting, meteors becoming crashed into us, the ozone layer leaving us. We are definitely going to blow ourselves up. Okay, it's like E-Bomb predicted this back in the 90s. For the love of everything holy. Like, this is all, can't you see how scripted this is? Can't you see, like, this is, okay, and then you also have Kash Patel, right? Remember I said watch Kash Patel? I said that like 4 years ago. Remember that? Before anyone knew his name at all? I said, keep your eyes on this guy. His name's Kash Patel. You have Kash Patel going to Truth Social, right? And putting out a truth. This is like 3 or 4 days ago. And said, everybody, where is it? Let me find it. I shared it. I want to know exactly what he said. Hold on. I don't want to like read it roundabout. I want to read exactly what he said. There you go. This was 2 days ago. Joe Biden, this is from Kash Patel on Truth Social. Joe Biden gave Iran over $6 billion. Remember that in the days to come. Did he know? Why would he say that? Why would Kash Patel, why would he now be bringing up $6 billion that Biden and Blinken gave to Iran 2 days before anyone knew that these rockets from Iran were going to fly to Israel? You can't see that this is all one big game? You can't see this is all one big script? I know what it seems like in the news. I know what it seems. I know it seems like it's doom and gloom, World War III, and then you're going to have all of these other broadcasters out there saying, "Oh, we're headed for World War III. We're headed for World War III, everybody. You better pack your shit. World War III is coming." No, it isn't. No, it's not coming. Is there going to be a threat of a World War III? Yeah. You're living through the threat right now. This is the threat. But is it going to develop into a World War III? I already see certain truthers saying, "Oh, you better, if your kids are 18 to 25, you better keep them at home because Biden's going to initiate a draft." No, he isn't. May he talk about it? Maybe. But you're watching a movie. Like, this is just... Don't get caught up in what you believe is the reality of events. Don't get caught up in that, because it's very easy to go on a certain Telegram channel or go on a certain website or URL and say, "Hey, this is what's happening. I don't know what Phil's talking about." But no, I've literally, go back and find the live that I talked about Russia getting involved with Israel if the United States came in. Go back and find that live. I talked about it 2 or 3 months ago. Kash Patel gave you a warning on Truth Social that said, "Hey, remember Biden did that." And then what, 2 days later, they launch? How stupid is the launch anyway? Let's talk about the actual launch of the Iran missiles at Israel. Iran launches the missiles, right? And then puts out a public service announcement and says, "Hey, we launched the missiles. They are coming. Fire sheet." right? Just like E-Bombs World. They launch the missiles, and then they put out a PSA that says, hey, we launched the missiles to be there in 9 hours. What military does that? Are you kidding me? You're going to launch at a country, you're going to launch a major military operation at a country, and then you're going to put out a social media or a mainstream media broadcast that you did so, and that, by the way, you got 9 hours before they get there. When I say that out of my mouth, I feel like an idiot. I feel like an absolute idiot when I say the reality of what's happening. That's how idiotic this whole thing is. And I don't say idiotic like, oh, I hate it. Like it's idiotic. It's just idiotic that you think that what you see is actually happening. This is all a game. This is all a joke. This is all pre-planned, pre-scripted. And it's controlled by the White Hats. And not just the White Hats, but the World Alliance. Putin's got his hand on this. Xi's got his hand on this. Trump's got his hand on this. Who knows what side Netanyahu's on now? Who knows? Maybe he flipped. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. He might be in on the whole thing. He's probably on a beach somewhere in Israel watching the things go over his head. Be like, yeah, I know, but there's nothing in them. I don't know. Maybe they're going to show us actual drone strikes. Maybe they're going to show us actual bombings. How do we know where the bombings are? Are they actually going to be in Israel? How do you know? How would you know? You wouldn't. And that's the point. The point is that you literally can't believe anything that you see right now. You can't believe what's going on in Iran versus Israel. You can't believe the actual price of metals. The prices that we see are just fraudulent. Gold right now should be about $5,000 an ounce. I'm sorry, silver right now should be about $5,000 an ounce, with gold being about $10,000. Is it? No, it's suppressed. Why? Because the big bank cabal institutions have short squeezes on the metals market. I said this on Telegram the other day. I don't know how many of you have seen it, so I'm going to repeat it again. For every $1, follow me here, for every $1 that the price of silver goes up. So right now it's 28 something. Let's say it goes to 29 something, up $1. Let me check that math. Yeah, 1. So $1. Every $1 that it goes up, Bank of America loses $800 million. Now look what's happened over the last 7 to 10 days. Silver's gone from 24 something to 29 something, right? A $5 difference in spot price. 5 times 800 million is $4 billion in 1 week. How do you take down the banking industry? You got it. That's how you do it. And guess what? When Bank of America fails, there's quite a few banks right behind them. Charles Schwab is one of them. Citibank is another one. There's going to be one bank that survives. One bank and one bank only. We only need one. And then we'll spurn off of that one. There's only going to be one. But you were looking at a major collapse of the banking industry. Major. Now, let me tell you what happens to your money if your bank fails. Let's say you have $10,000 in a savings account, some sort of CD in your bank, whatever. Let's say you have it in a lockbox in your local bank. Let's say your local bank is actually run by a Wells Fargo or by a Citibank or by a Bank of America. If that bank becomes insolvent, do you know what happens to your money? You lose it. You don't get it back. Read your customer agreement. Every one of the customer agreements say the same thing. If this bank becomes insolvent, we have the right to keep all of your possessions. You signed it. You did. If you have a bank account, you signed it. You already agreed to that. You told them, hey, if you guys go bankrupt and you lose everything because of bad decisions that you made or bad partners that you partner with, such as the cabal over the years, if you guys lose everything and I have my money with you, I lose everything too. It's okay. Here you go. Here's my signature. Take my money now, please. That's what you did. Do you not know that? Go read your banking information. Go read your banking agreement that you signed with your current bank. That is exactly what it says. Every one of them say the same thing. There's not a bank out there that will allow you to do business with them unless you sign that. Read the insolvency clause. Read what happens if your bank becomes insolvent. You lose everything. Forget about FDIC insurance. Forget about that because that doesn't apply to insolvency. So for those, look at, I could sell my metal now, and I could walk away with about a $40 million profit since the time I started collecting. 18 million in the last, couple weeks. And I'll never see you guys again. I'm 40 years old. You better trust between the assets that I have now and the cash out that I could do for my gold and silver, I don't need anything else. Nope. I will make that 40 million last. And not only will I make it last for me, but I'll make it last for my kids' generation too. All 4 of my kids. And they will be very happy and very healthy and very wealthy forever. You think I'm setting up these websites because I want to make a few thousand more or a few 100,000 more or a few million more? I don't care. I don't care. Truthfully, I don't even care where you buy your metal. You want to buy your metal on another website? Go ahead. I've made it easy for you, and I partnered with the industry leaders to make it bing, bang, boom. Get in, click the website, put in your details. Somebody calls you. They're nice. You get it. Boom. It's over. Right? You want to go purchase it somewhere else with somebody that I don't trust? That's up to you. You can do that. I don't care. I've done this because I want you guys to be in the position that I'm in right now. Okay? I'm hearing Trump's on. I could try to simulcast it. Let me see if I can do that. Hang on one sec. You guys want me to simulcast Trump, or do you want me to do a Q&A? What do you think? You guys tell me. Simulcast Trump or Q&A? I could do one of the two. Yes. Simulcast. Yes. 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 Okay, that's what I'll do. All right, here we go. I'm sure that the audio is going to be a little bit off. So, oh, look at that. I have a larger audience than Trump does on RSPN. That's great. Not for long. I'm sure it's going to go up, right? Maybe not. It might not go up. I don't know. Who knows? All right, let's do presentation mode, share screen. Guys, just, just to reiterate what I'm saying, get your money out of the fiat dollar. Come on. I mean, for crying out loud, get your money out of the fiat dollar. This is ridiculous, and you are going to lose money. It's going to happen. And if it's a family member that needs to talk to me directly or one of my experts directly, fine, I'll help. But for crying out loud, don't do this to yourself. Don't let the cabal lose what you've made yourself over the years. Don't let them take your wealth. Can you guys hear it? All right, guys, hold on one second. Let me try something else here. Let me try something else real quick and see if it works. I don't know why we have that issue where the sound doesn't come through. I don't know why that happens. I'm gonna try this one this time. Telegram, get off the screen. Come on. Here we go again. Hold on one second, guys. I don't know what's going on right now. Coming from music? I don't know where the sound is coming from. It's crazy. I don't know if you guys could hear that or not. Can you guys hear that music playing right now? It's my opening song. Could you hear that? No? I don't know where it's coming from. This did this the other night too. There's nothing open. Mac Pro speakers. Oh, I got you. I got you. M6. Okay, let's try this. I don't know if this is gonna work or not, but let's try it. Nope. I got an idea. I got an idea. Let's see if we can do this.
We'll also rescue our democracy. Our democracy is really under siege. Our Second Amendment is under siege, but not with me. It's not. With me, they don't touch it. But our Second Amendment is under siege. Our democracy is under siege because of Joe Biden. Joe Biden loves to say that democracy is on the ballot in this election. If it is, we're going to win in the greatest landslide in history. Because we're the ones who are fighting to save our democracy, and crooked Joe Biden is the demented tyrant. He's a demented tyrant who is trying to destroy our democracy. 2 days from now, the entire world will witness the commencement of the very first Biden trial. They're all Biden trials, you know that, right? And I'm proud to do it for you. Have a good time watching. Have a good time watching. On Monday in New York City, I will be forced to sit fully gagged. I'm not allowed to talk. You believe it? They want to take away my constitutional right to talk. I have a crooked judge. This has never happened before, by the way. You do know that, right? Fully gagged before a highly conflicted and corrupt judge who suffers from TDS. Does anyone know what TDS is? Correct. Trump derangement syndrome. As the radical left Democrat Party seeks to do anything possible to keep me from running and winning in this election. And let me tell you, we're leading by so much, they don't know what's happening. But you know what they'd love to do? I did nothing wrong from day one. I did nothing. You had Russia, you had Ukraine, you had every hoax imaginable. With all of the things they did, with millions of pages of study, they found nothing, which makes me perhaps the most honest guy almost in the world, I think. They found nothing. But like all true communist show trials, this is what you call a communist show trial. And we're going communist, don't kid yourself. We don't win this election, this country is finished. Thank you very much. I love you too. I love you too. That's why I put up with this stuff. Remember, I've been indicted more than Al Capone, the great gangster. I never heard the word indictment. I didn't know. Now, all of a sudden, if I fly over a Democrat state, they call it a blue state, I get subpoenaed before a grand jury. It's horrible. Honestly, it's horrible what they're doing. They're ruining this country. They're destroying the country in every way. There's not a thing he's done that's been good, but this is a case of blatant manipulation of the law and the facts, like Russia, and all of the other hoaxes that we've had to endure. The phony indictment has been torn apart and demolished by legal experts from across the political spectrum. Every single legal expert, without exception, that I can find.
Sorry, that took a minute, guys. It was a little difficult to get the settings right with this microphone and stuff, but now we can hear him. Probably do a Q&A after this anyway, so stick around.
Criminal cases, defending criminal cases, writing about criminal cases, and this is by far the weakest criminal case I've ever seen in my 60 years. There is absolutely nothing here. There is no misdemeanor. There is no felony. There is no federal crime. Every American is in danger.
It's interesting. Trump just said this is the weakest criminal case he said in his 60 years. But I'm pretty sure he's older than 60 years old. Just a little notice thing.
Smart guy, but he's a Democrat. He writes that. Here's another one. Highly respected former federal prosecutor Andrew McCarthy stated, "It would take us an hour just to flush out all of the problems with this case. The premise of this prosecution is falsification." What Bragg? That's Alvin Bragg. He's a Soros-appointed prosecutor. And by the way, crime in New York is at record highs. The violent crime, murders, killings, all.
Yeah, that's Trump, by the way. Some of you guys are asking if that's Trump. That's Trump. No double here at all. That's Trump.
Into court, they've got like 9 prosecutors, and in the meantime, people that murder, nobody does anything. What Alvin Bragg is trying to do is enforce federal campaign finance law, which he doesn't have any authority whatsoever to do. He's not allowed to finance. And by the way, the federal government looked at it, turned it down. It's a garbage case that he himself rejected a year earlier. When Bragg came into office, he's the district attorney. He said, "I'm not doing this case. This case is bullshit." And then what happens? He does the case. And, you know, here's the thing. They could have done this case 7 years ago. You know the way they're trying to rush it? This case would have been fine 7 years ago. Do whatever you want. They do it right smack in the middle of our election campaign. And I talk about our campaign. We want to do it now. And the same thing with deranged Jack Smith, all of these people. These are Biden people. He can't win an election. He can't put two sentences together. He can't find the stairs or the platform to walk off after he makes about a 2-minute speech. Here they are. I got 1, 2, 3. I got one in the back. I got them all over the place. He can't find them. He's looking around. Where are the stairs? All they're trying to do, they're weaponizing government. They're trying to harm your favorite president, hurt him, so that we can't win an election. They've weaponized elections like a third world country, like a banana republic. Renowned legal scholar, very smart guy, Jonathan Turley, likewise stated, it's a real Frankenstein case. It's made up of different parts that don't hold together. And it's frightening if this can be replicated in the future. You can't do cases like this. This is an outrage. A veteran New York City attorney told left-wing Rolling Stone magazine, this is a magazine that I've never read, but probably doesn't like Trump. Left-wing is, to put it mildly. This case, they say, this is Rolling Stone. This case is a joke, frankly, and I've litigated again.
Rolling Stone wrote a pretty nasty article about me too. I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but obviously it's not Trump's favorite magazine either. So the people that spread that garbage all around to you guys, just remember what Trump just said.
Law professor writing in the New York Times called the case a disaster, a legal embarrassment, and a setback to the rule of law and order, and a really bad thing for New York. And businesses aren't going to move into New York because of what they're doing. Their legal system is shot. It's a joke all over the world. But when I walk into that courtroom, I know I will have the love of 200 million Americans behind me, and I will be fighting for the... That's right. That's right. And I will be fighting for the freedom of 325 million Americans. This election is a choice between the Biden fascist state or the American Republic. It's called, we are going to make this country so great again, and we're going to do it fast. We're going to do it really fast. You know, right now, millions of people are entering our country from prisons, from mental institutions. They're coming from all over the world, all over the world. A vote for Joe Biden is a vote to end the rule of law, and it's a vote to destroy America as you know it. A vote for Donald Trump is a vote to save America's future, a vote to save American democracy, and a vote to save American freedom. And as I say, and I've said tonight, and I'll say it again and again, and I mean it so much, you know, when we had a beautiful November day, 2016, we won an election, and people are still angry about it because we weren't anticipated. They rig everything. We weren't anticipated to win that election. And what I've done to insult them is we won that election, and then we did much better in 2020 than we did in 2016, getting millions and millions of votes more. But this is going to be really special because I will tell you, 2016, we had spirit like nobody's ever seen before. 2020 blew the spirit away of 2016. We had, not only did we get millions more votes, I think the spirit was even greater. But now, because we've seen how bad they are, added to the fact that you like the job I do, you like the fact that countries respect us, you like the fact that we were energy independent, and all of the things. You like the fact that I got you the largest tax cut in the history of our country? And they're going to raise your taxes by 4 times. 4 times. Think of that. Take your taxes and multiply times 4. That's what you're going to be paying at this person. This person gets it. But I say this.
That's how I talk about Alvear. Like, I don't like to say what I want to say. So there's this person.
We've ever had. But I say now because 2016, I won to a certain extent on the border. and I fixed the border. And when I fixed it, I wanted to make speeches in 2020 about the border. And my people said, sir, but the difference is I listen to myself. I don't listen to anybody. He listens to his people. He listens to his communist handlers, okay? He does whatever they want him to do. But my people did say, sir, they don't want to hear about the border. You fixed it. I said, I want to talk about the border. They said, sir, you fixed it. We went on. We had an unbelievable election, getting millions more votes than we did in 2016. But the election was rigged. The election was rigged. Pure and simple. 2020 was rigged. It was a disgrace. We could never let it happen again. The difference, though, is this is compared to 2016 and the border. This border is 100 times worse. This is the worst border of any country in the history of the world. There has never been a border like this where millions and millions and millions of people are coming in totally unchecked and unvetted. The American people are going to stand up, and they're going to stand up to the lies and the witch hunt and the corruption of Biden. He is the most incompetent president in the history of our country. He is the most corrupt president in the history of our country. And he is the worst president by far in the history of our country. And we have to get him out. On November 5th, we have to get Biden the hell out of office and send him back to wherever he comes from. We have to get him out. Thank you very much. We have to get him out. And you look at all the things that are happening, everything, the whole world is ablaze. You know, it's interesting. Viktor Orban, who's the prime minister of Hungary, very strong guy, very strong person. I think happens to be a very good person, but a very strong person, doesn't play games, didn't want any illegal immigrants in his country. You know, then they say, oh, he's such a bad. Well, they asked him 3 weeks ago, what's going on with the world? What's going on? Everybody's fighting. Russia, Ukraine, Israel, the Middle East is blowing up. Everything's blowing up. China's going to be next with Taiwan because of weakness. China's going to be next. What's going on? He said, bring Donald Trump back as president and it'll all stop. It'll all stop.
He did say that.
He said it. And he said something else, and I wouldn't say it because I wouldn't really like the word. China was afraid of Donald Trump. Russia was afraid of Donald Trump. Everybody was afraid. I don't want to say that. I want to say they respected me. But the fact is, none of this stuff would be happening. None of it would be happening right now. We'd have a country that would be peaceful, prosperous. We would have had no inflation. Inflation was caused by energy. This stupid person, what he did with energy was that it went up 40, 50, 60%. That affects everything. Everything. If you make donuts, everything is more expensive. It's so bad. When you look at food prices now, where it's gone up by double and triple and quadruple, and you can never get that back, but we're going to get it way down, I promise you. And we're going to bring your energy so low. We're going to bring your energy prices so low that other things will follow. And that's what happened. It's very simple. Instead of trying to have corrupt prosecutors fight his battles, what he's doing, he's incompetent. And what he's doing, and it's not, I don't believe it's even him. I think it's the people that want to keep their jobs around him.
I don't believe it's him.
They want to keep the job because I don't think he has any clue. I don't think he has any clue. So listen.
This guy's the master of double talking, tongue-in-cheek type stuff. Doesn't think it's really him. Yeah, it's not. He doesn't mean, oh, well, I think it's the guys around him. He means he doesn't, he knows.
Where, any place, right there. And we have to debate because our country is going in the wrong direction so badly. And while it's a little bit typically early, we have to debate. We have to explain to the American people what the hell is going on. because they're looking at the border and they're looking at inflation and they're looking at the economy, which is terrible. They're looking at every single aspect of our country. They look at the fact that the world is laughing at our leader and laughing at us. And just 4 years ago was the exact opposite. We were the most respected country in the world. We were the most respected that we were ever respected. We were never more respected than we were 4 years ago. It's no wonder Joe Biden and his thugs, that's all they are. They're weak thugs. They're so desperate to stop us. They know that we are the only ones who can stop them. And all of this persecution of Donald Trump, I don't mind. I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it for you. But all of this persecution is only happening because I'm running for president and leading very big in the polls. We're leading so big, they're going crazy. They are going crazy. In the Wall Street Journal, they just came out with a poll. We're leading big in a place called, have you ever heard of Pennsylvania? And nationwide, we're leading by 4 points, 6 points, 9 points, 11 points. We're leading by a lot. Now, they cheat, so we have to give ourselves a lead. They cheat like hell. And when you see them cheating, you get out there and start screaming. Start screaming. The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election in 2020, and we're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election of 2024. Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor because I am being indicted for you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never, ever, ever let them take away your freedom. I will not let it happen. That's what they're trying to do. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me. They're after you. And I just happen to be standing in their way, and I always will be in their way. So job number one is going to be, and as soon as we take office, we will seal the border. Is that okay? And we're going to stop the invasion and send Joe Biden's illegal aliens back home. We had the safest border, the most secure border in the history of our country 4 years ago. The safest border in the history of our country. There are charts out that just came out from Homeland Security, if you can believe that. And I don't know where the hell your border is. Put it up instead of the back of my head. I'd love to have that chart. But it shows that the lowest number ever of illegal immigrants coming in was my last week in office before this very, very, very horrible president took over. You know, one thing good about it, though, Jimmy Carter's a nice man. Jimmy Carter looks like a brilliant president by comparison to crooked Joe Biden. Crooked Joe Biden, he is the worst. Jimmy Carter is a happy man. Oh! Hey, that's a good staff. I didn't think that'd find that one. That's the one. See the arrow in the bottom? That's when exactly when I went. See the number? That's the lowest number in the history of our country. The week that I went out, and then look at after that, it looks like a rocket ship. It's a rocket ship of illegal immigrants and people that we have no idea where the hell they come from. People don't even know the names of the country. The people coming here don't even know the names of the country from which they came.
You guys should pay attention because Trump should be saying something.
I said a little bit. Added up.
I don't know if he's going to do it. But he might.
Crime is down 67% because they're taking their gangs and their thugs and their criminals and dumping them all across the United States of America. How about that? How about that? They're sending prisoners, murderers, drug dealers, mental patients, and terrorists, the worst anywhere in the world. These are the only thing good about their criminals is they make our criminals like nice people. because our criminals, I think, are much nicer than their criminals. But, you know, people think, oh, isn't it wonderful? The migrants are flowing in. These migrants are coming from mental institutions.
You guys hear Trump say cup and handle? It's probably just a coincidence, though, right?
Are we crazy to take this? This man, what he has done, you know, I say it often. I say it at the rallies. This is a nice rally, by the way. This is a hell of a rally. I just heard there are 42,000. You know, we expected maybe, because it's freezing, right? It's freezing. I'm freezing my ass off up here. At least they could have given me a little bit of a heater underneath this. They gave me nothing. See, they take advantage. My own people take advantage of me.
So for those of you that don't know what cup and handle is, I did a video last week. I think it was a live. I did it on a live stream. It was on cup and handle, and it was the showing what the price of silver is going to do. And I did that last week, and Trump just said cup and handle. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's just a big coincidence, but I think not. Right? Wait till you guys find out who you're talking to here.
Wow, that's a lot. You know what? I wish they'd turn those cameras back and all the way back as far as the eye can see. You have people, and I hate like hell to give them the prime spot, the media, because they don't deserve. Look where that goes back to. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. But they never turn the cameras. You know what? Even our so-called friends, I won't get into it, who's our so-called friend, they never turn the cameras. And I always thought, you know, I'd say, please turn the camera, show the crowd. You'd think that would be good for, you know, like for television purposes. Positive, they're showing these big crowds. They never want to show that we have these giant crowds because they don't like it, because they don't want us to win, because they're basically progressive. They don't use liberal anymore. They don't like the term. They call it progressive. I think progressive is a beautiful word, but it doesn't apply to them. It doesn't. It's too good a word. So we'll call them liberal. But they're liberal, and they don't want to do it. And you know what? I thought when I first started this, they wouldn't. I'd say, turn around and show the crowd, show the crowd, show the crowd. And look at all these cameras. So we had all these cameras from day one. We never had an empty seat. We literally.
You guys starting to see why people don't want you to listen to me?
Too many seats. We had people standing. But we never had an empty spot. We never had an empty seat. I'd say, show the people behind you. Show all the people. They wouldn't do it. And then a fight broke out in the darkest, deepest corner of the place. A fight. And those cameras turned around like a pretzel. They could do it. I thought they were just stuck. It was steel. The cameras turned around like a pretzel to show the fight because that's a bad thing. But people are coming from the Congo. Last night, we had 20 people come. Welcome to our country from the Congo. Where do you live in the Congo? We live in prison. Oh, that's right. They released them from prison. I don't think they wanted to ask what they did, but they're coming in from Africa. Well, a lot of people coming in from Yemen. You know, we're bombing Yemen because this idiot wants to bomb people. He likes to bomb people. You can solve the problem with a phone call if they respect you. They're coming from Somalia. They're coming from Syria. They're coming from all over the place. What is disconcerting, we have 31,000 people over the last few months, Mr. Congressman and Mr. Congress. We got a lot of great congressmen here tonight. We have senators, we have congressmen, we have governors. And it's so cold, I don't think I'm going to even introduce them. But think of it. They're coming in from China, 30.
He's right. It's cold. It's really cold out there today. I couldn't even go outside today.
They're men. And it sounds like to me, are they trying to build a little army in our country? Is that what they're trying to do? And Biden doesn't know because the guy doesn't have a clue. This is country changing. This is country threatening, and it's country wrecking. They're destroying our country. They're wrecking our country. As a citizen, I demand that Joe Biden close the border immediately. Close it. Close the border, Joe. You can do it. He doesn't need Congress. You know, as president, I never had Congress tell me to close the border. I closed the border. Again, the best border, the safest border in the history of our country. I built 571 miles of wall. I got Mexico to give us thousands of soldiers free of charge to protect us while we were building the wall. We were going to add 200 miles of wall, and then we had a rigged election, and he took over. And you know what he did? He sold all of it. All you had to do is, it would have been done in 3 weeks. He sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. He sold our beautiful wall panels. People want our country. It's true, though. Can you imagine that? That's when I realized this guy actually believes. Think of the things that they believe in. High taxes, I'm going to do what you tell you. I'm going to destroy your social security because all of these people again are going to make it impossible for them to service social security. You're not going to use social security. Biden is killing your social security and your Medicare. But think of little things like, for instance, you want to have men play in women's sports, okay? Now, I don't use that. I mean, I think it's terrible, but I just say from a common sense, isn't it ridiculous? I'm always embarrassed when I say, and I will stop men from playing in women's, but who the hell would care? Did you see the weightlifting record?
Sound broken up there a little bit. Maybe if I pause it or mute it and then put it back on, it'll work. I don't know, we'll check.
But it's very demeaning. A record that stood for years and years. They couldn't beat it. They just couldn't do it. They'd put like a half an ounce on one side. They'd put a half an ounce of that barbell. And that woman got up and she's a champ and she couldn't do it. She just couldn't. And mom and dad, it was very sad. Mom and dad are in the front row, but they put a little bit on one side, a little bit on the other. It was a world record, stood for a long time. And then what happened? The guy comes up who happened to change his gender, right? Gender, proper word, right? They said, have you lifted before? No, I haven't. Oh, well, give it a shot. He goes like this. Bing, 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 bing. I think he broke the record by 129 pounds, didn't he? Like 120. For years, they couldn't do an ounce. Half an ounce, half an ounce. They couldn't do an ounce. He broke the record by 129 pounds. Are we crazy? How about the swimmer? She's a world-class swimmer, and she was badly injured, as you know, badly.
Oh, what's that say on the screen right there? Protect your retirement from DC politics. Get a free info kit on gold IRAs. Text Trump to 989898. Better call the SEC. Right? Right, Nick? Call the FBI and the FEC. Call them on Trump right now. You better call them. You better. Trump is grifting. Grifter. How dare he tell you to protect your retirement from DC politics? That is grifting. Grifting. Why would anyone advertise a rollover of a 401k or an IRA? Why would anyone do that? Oh, you better get the depositions. Get them out. Get them out.
More than she could do. They immediately took her to the hospital. She suffered massive windburn from the speed at which he went by her. And she was trying to break the record by 1/10 of 1 second. He broke the record by 37 seconds. Are we crazy?
Yes, that was a different company than the companies I use. I don't like Birch. Birch is one company that you could do it with. My companies are better. So that's why they're on my list and Birch isn't.
Afghanistan, who's on the terror watch list, was released into the United States along with many other terrorists by crooked Joe Biden, despite being a member of a terrorist group which is responsible for the slaughter of American troops in Afghanistan. He was looked for all over the world. They're looking for him. And he's in our country now and we're looking for him. Isn't that wonderful? He should never have been here. You know, I had a report that came out recently and it was on, I think it was on Deface the Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Donald Trump on Deface the Nation. But I think it was Deface the Nation or Meet the Fake Press. And it showed charts. And it actually...
Somebody just asked a question in the chat here. It just caught my eye. How did an actor wearing a mask playing the role of POTUS actually do anything? Answer me that. Well, because he was allowed to. By us.
But it actually said 0. And then you go on to 2021, 2022, and they had thousands of people pouring in, terrorists. But it actually said 2019, 0.
You guys check that code too for the IRA rollover that Trump is advertising? 989898. Why 98? What's 98? Why not like 91 or 89 or, well, 89 wouldn't work, but 454545, 454745, 454547. Why 989898? 9 plus 8.
Son, a violent criminal. He was a violent person. Then in September, that same illegal alien escaped from Chester County Prison and prowled through suburban communities. You all know about him. Hiding in backyards, breaking into homes until he was found with a stolen gun, and he was ready to do massive damage all over your community. Joe Biden's border bloodbath, that's what it is. It's a bloodbath, a word that they misrepresented. His border bloodbath ends the day I take the oath of office. We will stop the plunder, the rape, the slaughter, the destruction of American suburbs and cities and towns. We will end deadly sanctuary cities. You know, the Democrat mayors want to all end them, but they don't want to, really take on because they end up getting indicted. They go after these people. When they go against DC establishment, they end up getting indicted. So the Democrat mayors don't like sanctuary cities, but they're afraid to get indicted. I will shift massive portions of federal law enforcement to immigration enforcement. We will enforce our immigration laws stricter and stronger than anybody has ever done, including me. We will impose a naval blockade on the cartels. When we stopped them on land, they're very rich. They had ships, the most beautiful ships you've ever seen. I mean, these guys are loaded, nothing but cash, and they were having boats and ships on the ocean. The Gulf, come in through different ways. They're very ingenious. The only thing they understand is strength. They understand strength, and it'll all stop. When I met with President Xi of China, I said, do you have a drug problem? No, we have no drug problem. Why is that? Quick trial. I said, tell me about a quick trial. When they catch the seller of drugs, right, the purveyor of drugs, they immediately give them, the drug dealers, they immediately give them a trial. Takes one day. At the end of that day, if they're guilty, which they always are, according to people that study this, I don't think anybody has never been guilty. Within one day, that person is executed. They execute the drug dealers. They have zero drug problem. Zero. They have zero drug problem in Singapore and other places. Instead, we set up blue ribbon committees made of dilettantes from all over the country that know nothing about the genius, the evil genius of these drug lords that are taking us for a ride, and the cartels that are making billions and billions of dollars because Joe Biden is a stupid person. We have a president who's a stupid person. On day one, we will begin the largest domestic deportation operation in the history of our country. So we're pleased to be joined on this extremely beautiful, but little chilly, but chilly, this is not bad. When I won the primary in Iowa, we won in a record. By the way, on the primaries, every single primary, we won in the record numbers that have never been gotten before. From Iowa to New Hampshire, we won the caucuses, the Iowa caucuses, in double the margin that had ever been won before. We won New Hampshire, the largest number of votes ever gotten in the primaries. Now think of this, Republican or Democrat. Now you had Kennedy up there. It's a little area for the Kennedys, and others. We got more votes than anybody has ever gotten in New Hampshire. We went to Nevada. We went all over. We went to South Carolina. We beat a certain governor there by so much. So much. I'm the only one that can absolutely beat somebody by numbers that are unbelievable. And they say, and set a record in doing it. It was a record. And then I have to hear, he should have done better. In Nevada, We set the record. We set the record in every single state. So I'm very honored by it, and it's really great. Really great. You know what bothers me, though? This bothers me. I'm always watching Joe Biden and Donald Trump are the two candidates. They are both very unpopular people. I'm not unpopular. You know, he is unpopular. He is unpopular. But I am not unpopular. With 95% in the Republican Party, and a lot of Democrats are going to vote for us because they don't want to have open borders and drugs for everybody, okay? They don't want to have it. They don't want to have a nation that's not respected and wars that take place. Thank you.
We love Trump. 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 We love Trump.
Thank you.
We love
Thank
Trump.
you. But do you ever hear it? Joe Biden and Donald Trump are two very unpopular people. I'm not, and in all fairness to this guy, I mean, I don't get it because he can't speak. He can't walk. He almost fell out of a helicopter the other day. I mean, there's only 4 stairs. He held on for dear life. Oh, thank God. Those 2 fingers were just strong enough to hold him. But, you know, in all fairness to him, he beat all the competition. He beat it. Now, they did things that aren't, you know, what they did to Kennedy was terrible. They did what they did. That's what they do. They're fascists, okay? But what they did was terrible. But he did beat the competition. He did it, I think, probably unfairly, just like they cheated on the last election. But they did beat the competition. But I'm really popular. And I'm popular not necessarily. I think I have a nice personality. What do you think?
Yeah, he sounds like me. That's the same shit I say all the time.
Our great First Lady said, I can't imagine why they think you're not a nice person. She might be kidding when she says that. I don't know. But you know, I get these levels of I'm popular. Ronald Reagan was at 86%. Donald Trump is at 95%. That's popular, right? So why do these thugs and these fake news people, and there's so many cameras back.
I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the word stupid person in gematria, anybody look that up? You might get a pretty interesting result for stupid person. Let me know what you find.
And speaking of Congress, but we have great ones. We only deal with the great ones. And we have great people here that love our country, and they're members of Congress. Dan Muser, Dan. Lloyd Schmucker. Lloyd, where's Lloyd? He's around here someplace. Lloyd, where are you? Yes? Hi, Lloyd. These are great people. Former congressman, he was a great congressman, Fred Keller. Where's Fred? Hi, Fred. Are you cold in there? You don't have a coat? He's all man, that guy. I'd like to do that too, but I just refuse to freeze. I love these guys. Well, Mike Kelly, he used to come up with just an undershirt on.
Stupid person in gematria is 176. And that also is precious metals. Links down below. Don't go to whatever the one Trump had on the screen. Screw that one. Come to mine.
Senator Jarrett Coleman. Jarrett. Where's Jarrett? Hi, Jarrett. Good job you're doing. State Representative Zach Mako. And Mulo McKenzie. And we have a special person with us tonight. RNC chairman, just newly installed. He's a tough cookie. He's going to stop voter theft. He's going to steal the vote. He's going to stop the steal. We have lots of different. The bottom line is we don't need any votes. We have all the votes. What we need is on election day, which unfortunately is now called election period because some of these things go 48 days. What the hell are they doing for 48 days? You know what they're doing? They're stealing the vote. But this guy.
Yo, 176 is also something else pretty interesting. Don't know if you guys picked up on it or not, but it's Ezra Cohen Watnick.
No, hold on.
Oh, hold on. Shit, I did something. Hold on here. What did I do? You idiot.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, 176 precious metals. Ezra Cohen Watnick, and also stupid person. It's funny how that got its way into the speech, isn't it? Same thing with Cup and Handle.
On Stop the Steal. And thank you also to our super volunteers, Mike O'Hare and Al Smith, Bob Smith, and Jessica Ware. They've been unbelievable, the job they've done from day one. And they've been with me. And they said, we've never seen enthusiasm like this time. The one said, Jessica said, you know, in 2016, it was good, really good. It was incredible. It was like a happening. 2020 was just as good and maybe even better, sir. This blows both of them away. And I think it's true. Because you know what? You look at this crowd, which you can't see the end of it, but you look at this crowd, and in all fairness, we're 6.5 months away from, that's a long time. Most of these candidates on the night before the election would have a crowd that would be their largest crowd, and they wouldn't have anywhere near the people that we have right now. We're 6.5 months away. I wish we could move the election to Tuesday. Is there anything we can do? I want to move the election to Tuesday. You know, in the UK, they can pick their election. They say, we're going to have the election next week. I want to be able to do that. Would that be possible? From the very first day that we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden, I believe we're going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. In my first 4 years, I kept my promise to Pennsylvania, and we ended the disaster known as NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with a brand new USMCA, that's Mexico, Canada, the best trade deal, they say, ever made for our country. And frankly, I know it's good because Mexico and Canada want to redo it. They want to renew it, and they want it changed. And crooked Joe Biden will probably do it. How much? How much? Give me a couple of $1 million. I'll get it done. How much will it take to get crooked Joe? Don't change the USMCA. They took advantage of us with NAFTA for years. Don't change it. Don't change it. They have to have it. But it's always nice when you make a deal and they want to change it. I took on communist China like no administration in history, bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars, pouring into our treasury. When no other president had gotten even 10 cents, China gave no other president 10 cents. I also gave $28 billion out of that money. I gave it to our farmers. And I put powerful tariffs on foreign aluminum and foreign steel, which kept the steel industry in our country going and vibrant. But now Biden is changing that. We're going to end up with no steel industry with this guy. Can you imagine? We're in a war, and we need steel to build our ships and build our tanks, and we don't have any. You're in a war with China. And we need, because you see what's going on today, we're very close. We're very close to a world war. We're in a war with China, and we need steel. So our guys, Joe Biden will call China. Listen, could any deal, can we make a deal? Can we have some steel? We have to build army tanks to protect us from you. This is where we are. Our country is sick. Our country is sick. We're like a house that's burning down. And it all happened over the last 3 years. And we've got to turn it around. We love our country. We've got to turn it around. We've got to turn it around fast. Under Biden, U.S. Steel is being, so think of this, United States Steel Company, one of the great companies of the world 50 years ago, is being sold to Japan. Congratulations, Japan. U.S. Steel is being sold to Japan. In my next term, you love that one, don't you? Who would believe that? U.S. Steel. I would not let that deal go through. In my next term, I will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. If China or any other country makes us pay a tariff or tax of 100 or 200%, we will make them pay a reciprocal tariff of 100 or 200%. And you know what that is, basically? You screw us and we screw you. And then everybody is even. And you know what happens? There's no tax because everyone says, just forget it. We will always protect Social Security and Medicare for our great seniors. Biden can't do that. As president, I kept that promise, and I will keep it once again. I didn't touch your Social Security or your Medicare. And there were plenty of Democrats that said, do it. We're not doing it. You know, we have liquid gold under our feet, so much so that we don't have to do things that people think. We have more liquid gold, oil, gas, a lot of things, coal. You know, coal fires up the plants. Do you know that China right now is building a massive coal plant every single week? They're opening up a coal plant every single week while we struggle with wind. Where's the wind? You know the other problem? We can't get the windmills. You know why? They're made in China. China says, don't worry about America. We'll give them. But wind doesn't work anywhere. It's too expensive. It doesn't work. Kills all your birds. If you'd like to see a nice bird cemetery, walk under a windmill sometime. You'll see more dead birds than anything. You know, if you shoot an American eagle like a bald eagle, they put you in jail for 5 years. But the windmill, they kill them by the thousands. You know that, right, Mr. Congressman? They kill them by the thousands. So we're very off as a country. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after we win the presidency, it's we, I will have the horrible war. That's right. I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine totally settled. I will settle it, and I will and I'm the only one that can say this because these other people have no clue. I will prevent World War III. And remember, World War III would be a war like no other because of nuclear weapons and many other types of weapons that are at a level that nobody can even imagine. You don't even want to talk about it. We're going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope, safety, and beauty better than they have ever been before. We're going to rebuild our cities, and we're going to work with Democrat mayors and Democrat governors if we have to, but we're going to rebuild our cities because our cities are going to hell. We will take over the horribly run capital of our nation in Washington, D.C., and clean it up, renovate it, and rebuild our capital city so that it's no longer a nightmare of murder and crime. Do you see the crime that's going on in Washington, our beautiful Washington, D.C.? People are being murdered all the time. They come from Pennsylvania and they want to go and see our capital, and they get murdered. So much crime, so much horrible, violent crime. But rather it will become the most beautiful capital anywhere in the world. We're going to clean it up and we're going to make it safe so our congressmen can walk into that wonderful place that should be a wonderful place. And right now it looks like hell. It's filthy dirty with graffiti all over the place, garbage all over the streets, roads with potholes. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, or other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the lives of our children. I will not give one penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. And as I very embarrassingly said before, I will keep men out of women's sports, okay? And I will fully uphold our great Second Amendment, which is so important. You know, for 4 years, despite tremendous efforts by the Democrats on the Second Amendment, we didn't budge an inch. We didn't budge an inch, and I think you all know that. We will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech, and we will do it quickly. And I will secure our elections. We're going to end up paper ballots, same-day voting, and voter ID. Our goal will be that we want to have paper ballots. We want to have proof of citizenship. We want now, because you know they have all these people coming in.
Say it.
We want proof of citizenship. It's very important. But until then, Republicans must win. We want a landslide that is too big to rig. If you get the numbers too big to rig, I love these people. Look, they're huddled together. They're huddled together. It's freezing out here. They're huddled together. I love it. It's freezing. I hope they know each other. Do those people, they're so close. I've never seen, I hope you're related. I don't know if they are. I think that he never met her in his life.
All right. That was fun. Oh, let me fix this mic real quick. Okay. Hey, guys. How are you? That was a cool one. Cup and handle, 176, talking about stupid person. Ezra Cohen Watnick, liquid gold. Ivanka wears a shirt that has my name and gematria. Pretty crazy stuff happening, right? Pretty crazy. A couple of interesting things. He said that in other countries in the UK, you could just name the date they have an election. The only way you could do that in the United States if there were ordered to be a special election. And the only body that could order a special election is the Supreme Court. You know, kind of like that Supreme shirt that I was wearing the other night. And the only way the Supreme Court would order a special election, though, would be if there were an unprecedented event. You know, that's something that's never happened before. They would have to order a special election instead of the regularly scheduled election, like in November. Like, you know, election fraud or something like that. That would be the only way. Cup and handle, though. By the way, Trump's grifting. He's telling people to roll over their retirement into an IRA or a 401k. I couldn't even believe I saw that. What a grifter. We should probably report that to the SEC. Because, you know why? He goes on stage and he's telling everybody how bad the economy is. And then he's advertising for a rollover that he makes money on as an affiliate marketer. That can't be right. It's probably illegal, right? You better call the SEC or the FBI. You know, we should put in complaints to the FBI against Trump and the SEC. We'll do videotape depositions and all that. Listen, do you think for 1 second that I wouldn't be doing something? Do you think for 1 second that I would be doing something that Trump wouldn't do? He knows perfectly well where our economy is going. And he's trying his best, like me, to help you. Goldquiz.com. I don't like Birch. Birch is the company that he uses. I think I know why he uses Birch. Would I use Birch if I were him? No, probably not. Well, if I were him, I probably would, yes. Yeah. But I don't like Birch. They're not one of my vendors. So yeah. Why don't we do a brief Q&A? Get some really good ones here. Why was the sun... Sorry. Oh, shit, where'd it go? Why could we not see the moon during the eclipse? Because the moon's not a rock in outer space. That's 200,000 miles away from Earth and 93 billion light years away from the sun or whatever. It's a levitating disk that it's a luminary. Our planet has two luminaries, the sun and the moon. The moon has its own light source. The sun, obviously, has its own light source. If you listen to the Bible, the moon was meant to light up the night. The sun was meant to light up the day. Now, what happens is, as the sun and the moon make these concentric circles around Earth, and we would have to go over a model for you to see that. I posted one on Telegram earlier today. But as they make these concentric circles around Earth, which are the Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, the equator, the Arctic Circle, and the Antarctic Circle. As those luminaries traverse over those circles around our flat realm, our realm is flat, but it is also round, like a dinner plate. It's just not a sphere, okay? And we have these two small luminaries in the sky, the sun and the moon. Now, the moon has cycles. You know how the moon goes from a new moon to a full moon, and then everything in between, waxing and waning? As the moon gets closer to the sun, all of the moon's light and energy gets captured by the sun. and the moon goes completely dim. That's a new moon. As the moon gets further away from the sun can't capture as much of the moon's light, as much of the moon's energy. Therefore, the moon could start lighting up itself again. When the sun and the moon are at the furthest point away from each other that they could be over our flat realm, you have a full moon. When they are closest to each other that you could get, you have a new moon. Cycle happens every 28 days. So it's a very, very good question that why couldn't we see the moon as it approached the sun until we just saw this black circle in front of the sun? Excellent question. You should have been able to see it. When it was in the sky, you should have been able to see the white moon, just like you do during a full moon. But you didn't, did you? Why doesn't anyone want to explain that? Why do the globe people, the ones that believe in the global, heliocentric, spherical Earth, why don't they want to say, well, where's the light on the moon? Why won't they tell you? Because they can't explain it. And they can't explain it because the only explanation is what I just said. And it is also the exact reason why the moon waxes and wanes, why it's fully illuminated during a full moon when it's furthest away from the sun, and completely dim when it's closest to the sun. The sun pulls the energy out of the moon. The moon cannot light up. Think of the sun and the moon as a positive and a negative node of a battery, with the sun being the positive node and the moon being the negative node. The positive rips out the energy of the negative. It's exactly what the sun and the moon are. You live on a clock. You live on God's clock, and everything rotates. Everything. Earth is also like a giant battery, with the sun and the moon just being one example of it. So what you did see during the eclipse the other day was the moon eclipsing the sun. But the reason as to why and how it eclipsed the sun, and the reason for why your eyes saw what they saw, there's no other explanation other than what I just said. Because as the moon was getting in front of the sun, it should have been lit up by the sun. But it wasn't. Flat Earth explains it pretty well. Bible explains it pretty well. Next question, please. Will credit unions be affected? Yes. Credit unions are also insured by the FDIC. Credit unions, banks, no one's safe from the fall of the cabal. Nobody, except gold and silver accounts. Next question. Do you expect an election next week? No. I wish. No. So the process for that will be Supreme Court first. Announcement, and then special election probably within 2 weeks of that, maybe even a week. We're ready to vote. We don't need any debates. We don't need anything else. We could vote now. Especially knowing that there's fraud in the Oval Office right now, and therefore the rest of the State Department. Are you related to the Kennedys? I'm not going to answer that question right now. Was Speaker Johnson being blackmailed? Johnson's doing what he's told to do. I do agree that there's some confusion in Johnson's role right now, but it'll all come together. Don't you worry about that. Is Klaus Schwab dead? Yes, Klaus Schwab is dead. How on earth could Trump have said cup and handle? Maybe he watched my live stream. I don't know. Try your own conclusions. Is it too late to buy silver or gold? No. I think it's going to be too late when you start to see the price approach 50 for silver and 3,000 for gold. Once it hits those thresholds, it's going to skyrocket daily. You may see it double over the course of a couple days daily for many weeks straight. And I don't know how many people could actually afford it then. So you have a window. You've had it. First of all, your ignorance is bliss, because if you haven't yet invested in it and you don't own any and you haven't rolled over a 401k or an IRA and you haven't signed up for Phil Silver or any of that, that's being naive. And I understand, like, if you have a spouse that just won't go for it, but now what do you say about it now? I mean, now it's just, now there's no excuse. The writing is on the wall, and I understand if you didn't heed the warning in the last year or 2 or 3 that I've been talking about this, but for crying out loud, Trump's advertising rollovers. A little late to the party, Don. Just kidding. Don't get mad. Many of us live paycheck to paycheck. I get that. Listen, gold and silver is not going to be for everybody. So when I say those things, I don't expect you to like not eat and buy silver or gold instead. I get that. If you're in that situation, you can't buy gold and silver. Don't buy. It's not even in your best interest to do so. But if you have extra money, as in a savings account, a 401k, an IRA, a 403b, or anything like that, and you don't do it, that's naive and ignorant. Everything's right in front of your face. And then if something happens and the bottom falls out of your bank and you lose your money, what are you going to say? Who are you going to blame? The only person you could blame is you. Now, if your 401k or your IRA or your retirement account is locked and you can't move it over, you'll be okay. You'll be protected. You'll be okay in that case. But if it's not, and you can roll it over and don't, the onus is on you. It's not on anyone else. So. Sarah Hobbs. You mentioned scrambled eggs. Scram equals safety controlled rod axe man. I can't stop this from scrolling up. It's an emergency shutdown on a nuclear reactor. Were you pointing us to Trino, Italy? I've been pointing you to Trino, Italy in a couple different way, shape, and forms for months now, I believe. And scrambled eggs was one little reference, but that had something else too. It wasn't just for that. A lot of things that I put a lot of time and effort and thought into to do like a specific live about eggs and how to cook them. Like I don't just do that because I think it's fun. Yeah. Dinar Dong Monday. I don't know. None of that's a question. Those are 3 words with question marks after them. How am I supposed to interpret what the heck you're talking about? Don't worry about the price of silver and gold. Tesla has free energy. My IQ just dropped 30 points. What the hell does that mean? What does that mean even? I can't understand. Can you explain to $800 million silver short? Yeah, pretty simple. I said it earlier in the show. When silver goes up $1 spot price per ounce, Bank of America loses $800 million. And that's because of all of the shorts that Bank of America has in silver. So a short is when you look at when you take a stock, pick a stock. Let's just call it, let's say Tesla stock. You could either invest in Tesla stock and you could buy into it for the long term, right? If the stock goes up, you make money. That's investing in stock. That's how it works. The opposite of that is doing a short. Anybody ever watch The Big Short? Watch it. This group of guys got together and shorted the housing market. You couldn't even do that. Like, you can't short a market. But the banks were like, why the hell would you want to short it? Okay, we'll make you an instrument so you could short it. Here you go. How much money you want to give us? Like, they were eager to do it. So they put hundreds of millions of dollars into these shorts, and they ended up walking away with billions of dollars because the banking industry did collapse. Similar to that, that's what the major banks are, especially Bank of America, they're most exposed and they can't get out of it. They have shorted silver for years and years and years. So they're betting that silver goes down. Now, here's the thing. If it goes up, you lose a lot. It is a very dangerous bet to short a stock, because if that stock goes down, you have to pay dividends. So in this case, Bank of America is so overexposed in silver that they lose $800 million for every $1 spot price that it goes up. You know what also drives up the price of silver and gold, for that matter? When you buy it. So the more you roll over and the more you buy, you are contributing to the downfall of the banking system. And boy, nobody deserves it more than them, especially the central banks. When is Josh Shapiro going down? I don't know when, but Josh Shapiro, I believe, will end up in jail for a few different things. But will Canada join BRICS? I think everybody is going to participate in NESARA GESARA, and I think BRICS is just the front for those names. So NESARA GESARA is plotting itself out in the form of BRICS right now. So we call it BRICS, but in reality, it's NESARA GESARA. So I think worldwide, I think every country in the world is going to participate in GESARA. Why wouldn't they? So yes, the answer is Cape Middleton dead? Yeah, I believe Cape Middleton's dead. The circumstances for which I can't yet talk about, but I will talk about them when I'm able. Do you know if Megyn Kelly is Nicole Brown Simpson? I don't know that to be a fact. I do see the striking resemblance, though, but I don't have any intel into that. What I do know is OJ did not kill Nicole or Ron Goldman. OJ was complicit in covering up their murders, and the reason why he was complicit is because OJ came home that night to find Nicole and Ron dead in his home, and his son was there, and his son did it. And all evidence points to exactly what I just said. All evidence in that entire case points to two people being there, from the footprints to the gloves to the blood on both sides of the vehicle, both sides of the Bronco, to the hairs that were found in the car. All evidence points to two people. And if you look close enough at that evidence, it points to OJ's son. And if you know OJ's relationship with his son, you would know that OJ would cover up a murder from his son and gladly go to prison for his son if needed. And that's exactly what he was willing to do. I think OJ was just as surprised that OJ got off that all of us were. But it was a risk he had to take because he was not going to watch his son go to jail for life. The circumstances surrounding that night were something like this. OJ's son had just got a job as a chef in one of the popular restaurants in what the hell was the name of that area they lived in? Started with a B. Bradenwood? Something like that. But anyway, he just got a really big promotion, top chef at this restaurant. And Nicole and her family were supposed to go to his restaurant that night. He had it all set up. He was very proud of his promotion. And Brentwood, there it is, Brentwood. Yep. So he was very proud of this promotion. He had it all set up for the family to come, and there was supposed to be like 20, 25 of them. It wasn't only Nicole and her family, but it was also the Kardashians and a couple other families that they were really good friends with. And, you know, the invites went out, and he put a lot into this. And he was telling all of his colleagues and all of his friends that my family's coming, and he had a whole menu planned out and everything planned out perfectly for the family. And Nicole didn't really like OJ's son too much. And Nicole kind of got everyone to go to a different place. OJ's son was a hothead, just like OJ was. Now, listen, I'm not defending OJ. OJ got into a lot of domestic violence things, which is one of the reasons he got arrested in the first place. He was also there. He knew of the murders, couldn't do anything. He walked in after it was already done. But when Nicole slighted OJ's son, he left his job and went home that night. And Ron Goldberg, she wasn't doing anything with Ron. Like, they weren't like sneaking around or anything like that. Nicole literally forgot something in Ron's restaurant, and Ron returned it to her. I don't know if it was a pair of glasses or a wallet or something. And bad luck for Ron. Ron ended up going to Brentwood, to Nicole's house, because I think it was a wallet or something with her address. And Ron went there, and while Ron was there to return the wallet, in comes OJ's son. OJ recognized Ron from the competing restaurant and lost his shit and killed 2 people. After they were dead, which didn't take very long, the fit of rage that OJ's son went into, he nearly decapitated Nicole. Cut her at the neck and literally all the way back to it. Her head was just hanging by a thread. After his rage subsided, OJ's son kind of just collapsed to the ground and sat there. He knew his life was over. He knew there was no getting out of it. And OJ showed up. Well, OJ's got some pull, and OJ's got some money. And the first thing that OJ thought of was, well, how do I get my kid out of here? What do I do? And he did the best he could. He didn't do a great job. He did the best he could. I think he raised enough reasonable doubt at trial to confuse a jury. And, Mark Furman obviously didn't help anything with his racist comments, especially in that period. You make a racist comment as a lead detective in the case, that's going to taint the jury. It's going to make it bad. You're gonna have a really hard time getting a unanimous verdict in a murder trial then. So interesting testimony in that trial from Cato Kalin. Cato Kalin said he heard 2 men arguing. One was OJ, and one was not Ron Goldman. He said there was another male. That kind of got swept under the rug at trial because even the prosecution didn't want to hear that. Right? Because now they got OJ on trial, and oh boy, second man, they just completely got rid of that real quick. But it was OJ's son. Interestingly enough, the black hat that was found on the scene, the black knitted hat, the winter hat, OJ's son is seen in several pictures on social media at that time. It wasn't on social media, but it was like photographs, right? That ended up on social media, ended up circulating, even on the news. OJ's son was seen wearing that exact hat in several photos, which was also the hat that he wore the night that he killed Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson. Another thing is there were dog hairs found, golden retriever dog hairs found embedded in that black hat. Well, OJ didn't have a dog, not a golden retriever. OJ's son did. And ironically, OJ's son is actually seen in photographs wearing the black hat with the golden retriever. But the prosecution didn't want to talk about any of that at trial because it points to someone else that's not OJ. And they needed OJ. Because OJ was black and he killed 2 white people and the race thing was going down at the time. Johnny Cochran comes in as the savior and white, black, light black. Why can't we just find who did it? Why does race have to get somebody off of something or convict somebody of something? It's just disgustingly ridiculous is what it is. Can't we just figure out what the truth is and then go from there? Why do we have to have a predisposed position as to what the truth is based on race or based on hate? And that's what the cabal has done to us over the years. But OJ Simpson took that secret to his grave. Why? Because his son is still alive. Now that OJ's dead, I would not be surprised if you see OJ's son do it again. I don't know if he's changed since then. But you know, they say murderers don't change. When your dad's around, though, maybe that's different. But the whole Bronco chase, that was to OJ wanted it to seem like he was guilty. OJ wanted the eyes on him. OJ wanted people to think that he was running because he was guilty to take the heat off of his son. And I got news for you. In the same exact situation with one of my sons, Colton or Preston, committing those murders, I would do the same damn thing 100 times out of 100. The only mistake that OJ made was he didn't get his kid out of the country. I would have did that. Because if the evidence ever did point to my kid, he's out of the country now. You're not getting him. He would be somewhere with no extradition.